Hey Alyssa, this is looking good. Great improvements from last time. I really liked how you cleaned up the whatever was going on with the shoulder. I don't know how to call about it, but there was like some back and forth in there. And this is looking great. So there's a lot of work done in here too. I'm gonna try. I'll identify your keys, and then talk about it. Where did we start? We started there. That's kind of the inverse of that. Okay, cool. So, because it's like a symmetrical walk, all the notes that apply to these in-between poses will apply to the mirror pose too. But I just have like tiny, like nothing huge, just tiny, tiny little pose notes on some stuff. Um, this is looking great. I think it's okay to start to peel the heel up a little bit, but I'll leave that up to you. Just because on the side view, this looks kind of like far forward, and it looks like it would put a lot of like pressure and strain on like the hamstring to keep the heel down. But if you feel like that's important to the feeling of the dance, the little bop walk that you're working on here, then feel free to keep it. It's not a strong preference. Here, I would just pay attention to this angle of the foot here and the leg here. I feel like it might be a little stronger if this foot angles out into something that's like a little more comfortable, a little more in line with what the leg is doing. But again, that's a tiny, tiny pose note. Um, the angle here to here on this foot remains very similar. So I think I would rotate it a little bit like this, a little bit more forward here, just to break it up. And even from here to here, that angle is very similar. So maybe you can even start to rotate the foot. Bring up the heel, rotate the foot that way across this move a little bit. Like maybe this is a little too extreme about how far to rotate it. I'm not saying like do exactly what the drawing is. I'm just looking at like stuff that I feel needs just a little bit more attention. What is going on here? We didn't want a drawing here. Anyways, yeah. And then one of the other things that I noticed when I play through it is how long this foot stays up off the ground, which is it's fine. But I feel like right around here, I mean, I know I would get it, okay, so my thoughts is I would get it heel down, if possible, here sooner. Maybe a pose sooner. And then if it's heel down here, then in the next pose, I want it to like take the full weight, so make it flat. You know what I mean? And we'll really feel like, because you got the hips here like angling up in a really great way when weight goes onto that foot. So if weight is like on this foot and that's what's driving that corner of the hip up, I think we would want to see like the whole foot flat on the ground. These are again tiny, tiny nitpicky things. One thing I would do here is I would probably try to pose the foot a little more inside and less pushed out. Like I like on your reference what you have going on here, but when you go over here, I see that the foot is kind of still swinging and translating more towards the inside. So that, I think, will make it just a little bit stronger. But let me just check it out one more time. Yeah, the up and down is looking much better of the center of gravity. Like I really feel the weight going onto the leg when she dips down, in that little bopping motion. So there's the big dip, and then there's like these secondary little dips, which is part of the little dance or the little beat, like the bopping to the music walk. I think I would like this top to down looks nice here, but I feel like maybe if you can push this up a little bit more on that bop. Like let's emphasize those because those are really fun, and then it'll give you more contrast when you go down to plant your weight on the foot. You know what I mean? It'll give you a bigger range to travel, and it'll show that like weight shift even better. And looking at it from the side, I mean, I gave you some notes from the side already. Yeah, I think it's looking strong. I think you're heading in the right direction. I'd feel free, you know, if you hit that notes to put in some more breakdowns, get things on, you know, it's not all going to be evenly spaced, but maybe you can get it on just a couple more keys, like maybe one here, that's a plus, maybe one here, and then, you know, and conversely in the back half, the mirrors of those, and then you're going to be probably in a pretty decent place to think about splining it if you're comfortable with that. But anyways, great work, and keep it up. I look forward to see what you have next week.